Okay, hello guys, welcome once again for with a one of another interesting topic that that is called Route 53 in AWS. The service is very similar to DNS service we are using in our current IT infra. But if we go into the cloud and we use AWS service, there we have to use Route 53 service. Route 53 is a fantastic service which is used to provide multiple features and let you allow to manage your websites, manage your servers which are publicly internet facing. Earlier you used to host it via different third party companies like GoDaddy, Big Rock, etc., HostGator, etc. But now Amazon AWS makes you makes you capable to manage your websites completely from one console, that is Route 53. This is very simple. You need to go to Route 53 service in AWS and you can do a number of things whatever you require related to hosting websites and your servers. Once you log in into this, you will find few options. So if you go to dashboard, you can register your domain from domain registration policy. Here this is very simple. You can search any domain you want to purchase and just type here the domain name and you can check here that if that domain is available. If the domain is available, it will show you in the list. Otherwise it will show you the related options which are available and you go for the alternatives, and this will also show what is the price for 1 year. So depends, and you can purchase the domain here and you can host it in AWS itself. Once you choose your domain, you can just click add to cart and give your contact details, review and purchase, and the domain is with you. Once you purchase the domain, you have win the half battle. After that, you need to go to into DNS management service where you can map your domain with your server IP address. For that, you need to go to DNS management. I already have one DNS hosted zone and I am just deleting this so that you can learn from the scratch. First we need to delete all the records which exist in that hosted zone. Okay, so cool. Now first we need to create a hosted zone. This hosted zone will be your domain name. In my case, this is awslearnings.com. I need to choose that whether it is a public hosted zone or whether it is a private hosted zone. If you created a VPC, you can choose your VPC so that this will work in your VPC itself. And if it is a public hosted zone, you can use it over the internet. So I created this domain name awslearning.com and I set public hosted zone. Once you create this, two records will automatically get created. One is SOA Service of Authority record and one is NS Name Server records. Name server records keep the details of Amazon DNS server, so that whatever the request is coming for awslearnings.com, this will get forwarded to these name servers or these DNS server, and this DNS server will let them know that where to look after for the domain. SOA is the service of authority, start of authority record, which explain that what are the refresh time interval, what are the retry time, what are the service authorities, which is this domain is providing. And if required, you can change these settings here. Cool. So we need to create now another record, and here you can see that my domain name is already listed here, so I don't need to do anything. Or if I just want to make sure that if somebody type www.awslearnings.com, it should route to one of my server, and for that let me just check. I think I have one EC2 instance already running. With a web server. Okay, so I already have one server, one web server. Its public IP address is this one. I should use elastic IP address because public IP address is used to get changed. And I need to map this IP server with my domain. So you can see that via AWS I can manage my web server and my record both via one console. I don't need to go to GoDaddy or Big Rock or some other portal where I can host my website. I can host my website on my server itself, and I can host it via Route 53 in AWS itself. That is cool. Apart from this, if I want to create another policies like weighted latency failover, I can set up it here. If I do have any load balancer and I want to map it, that is very easy in AWS. What I need to do, I need to choose alias option here, and into the target I can see whatever my load balancers are available, or whatever my CloudFront distributions are available. According to my requirement, I can choose this one. Apart from this, if I required, I can create multiple records. Like if you want MX record, you can go via mail exchange. Rather than using CNAME records are normally used in DNS server as an alias, but in AWS, if we speak about this, we don't need to do anything because we can achieve this via alias option in AIPv4 address itself. Here we can see our targets available, so I don't need to go somewhere else, and I can use A records and can set up my alias here. Apart from this, if I go back, I can also create. AWS gives you fantastic features, like if required I can create health checks which can let me know that if my website goes down, it will tell me that my website is down and I can get the alert for this. This is something which is called health records or availability monitoring section. I can go to health checks. Okay, you can see here, this is, I already have one health check available, so I mapped it with my public IP address, my with web servers, and you can see that this health check is green. That means my server is running. And if I check this, let me try to open this website, and yes, this is running. So how to create health check? Go to create health check. Give your health check name like AWS Learnings, your endpoint, and if you have multiple health check, you can choose status of other health checks too. Next point is monitor an endpoint. What is my endpoint? It is an IP address or it is a domain name. If you want to give your domain name, you just need to put www.awslearnings.com or your organization name. And if you want to check your IP address, as I did in my last case, I need to select IP address. I prefer that you should use domain name because our main concern of area is domain, not the IP address, because it could be possible that my one server could be down and one IP address is running, but there could be some problem with the domain name mapping, and that don't work. So I prefer that you should choose domain name. Here you can choose the port where you are running your web server, and you give to path. By default it picks index.html, but if it is something else, you should define here. That's it. It's very simple, and apart from this, you can also choose if you go to advanced configuration, you can choose other options like what should be the time interval. By default it is 30 seconds. That health check try AWS check your website URL after each 30 seconds, and if they get the response, the status will be healthy. If you want to change it, if you want faster frequency, if you want your faster response, and you want to ensure that there is no downtime even for the 30 seconds, you can choose this fast 10-second option. You can define the other things like failure threshold, string matching, latency graph, whatever you like, you can choose here. And you can also choose the reasons. If you want to customize it, you can customize it, and you can choose from which reasons the health check status get checked. If you choose by default, this will check from all the reasons. Next, and you can, if you want that you got an email for this, you can also do that. You can create alarm, and you can create an SNS topic. Something like website alert, and you can set up your email address where you want to get your alarm that your website is down. That is very useful feature. Sometimes if your website goes down, you can get an email and you can come to know easily that my service is not running. So here, fantastic, you can see that it is running, and the status of my new created is unknown, because this will take approximately 5 to 10 minutes to get the enough data so that it can respond and it can check that yes, website is running properly or not. Whatever the other settings you can check here. It will show you last hour records, the alarms you have set up, and whatever the things you have set up, you can check it from here. Like you can see that in the in my another health check status, it is checking from another records, another locations. So health check is something very useful in Route 53. Till now we have covered domain registration, availability monitoring, health check, and DNS management, how to create the records. There is one new feature included by AWS just soon, that is called traffic management, and it is also a good feature. However, it is a bit costly. It is for each and every policy it took $50, but I think you should check it. This is very simple. uh, what it do, it we don't need to create separate multiple records, and it allow you to create the records graphically. You don't need to create multiple records. You can simply create a traffic policy which is keep version wise, like whatever the changes you do, so it keeps upgrading the version. And what it do basically, let us suppose you have any server, you can create the complex policies here. Like suppose you have one server, and it show that what you need to do, connect to failover rule. So here it will show that, here you can see you can create with the new endpoint, and here you give your server name, and what is your failover server name you can also define here. If you have any alias like load balancer, CloudFront, distribution, whatever, you can set up it here. Or if you have any server running for this, you can give your server IP address. So what it do basically, like that it allow you to create complex policies very simply. Graphically you can see that I set up one DNS type which says that DNS type is a record, and its primary server is 10.15.24.21, and if it get fails, the request should go to secondary servers, that is 10.12.24.21. And what it does, it allows me to create traffic policies. In the secondary server, I need to use a health check, so I use this health check here. Okay, so once my policy get created, you can see that there is a pricing for $50. Once the policy record get created, I can map it. Here you can see that this my domain name get mapped with traffic policy record, and whatever the policy records are there, that can be seen into this policy which I have just created. Simple. Right now I'm deleting it because I don't want to get charged for $50. So in this session we have covered most of the things related to Route 53, that how to manage, how to map your servers with your domain, how to map the IP addresses with your domain, how to map the URL with your domain, how to map a load balancer with your domain, how to create the health checks, how to purchase the domains, and how can you create traffic management policies and use them. So I hope that you have enjoyed this session and you like this session. If you have any comment or query, please do write on my YouTube channel in this video, or if you want any particular session regarding any particular topic, please let me know. I will try to include that in my next video. If you want to write any email to me, you can contact me via awslearning.com. if you want online training, or if you want to contact me if you regarding any query, please feel free to write to me awslearnings@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Please do like the videos and keep subscribing. I hope we keep subscribing. Thank you. Cheers.